Alt Funds Global presents Creative Financing Secrets the Banks Hope You Never Learned.
All of the information presented is for entertainment and information purposes only. Nothing discussed constitutes legal or accounting advice, an offer or solicitation of financial services, or financial advice of any kind. Our goal is to showcase alternative vehicles to raise capital. At no point will we be soliciting any investment programs.
Got another hot topic today with the founder of Alt Funds. Hello, Timur Zeman.
Hello, Cindy.
So there are all kinds of creative ways to get financing, but these secrets are secrets that banks hope that you never learn. So that is the topic of today. So for those of you looking for funding, settle in. It's going to be fascinating. So Timur, let's just dive right in. What are a few of these creative financing solutions that you are offering to accredited investors?
Thanks. So as far as I'm concerned, banks are hard to get a loan from. Every time you want to get a loan from a bank, there's like 5,000 pages of questions you have to answer and collaterals you have to give on your firstborn and your secondborn at that. And it's not like it's impossible to get loans from a bank, but it's just difficult. And as you want to grow your business, and especially grow in multiple different cities around the world or in the US or Canada, wherever it is, you need relationships with multiple different banks. And that's not always easy. And I have clients who have, believe it or not, over 27 different mortgages with 27 different lenders, private equity banks, and just managing those relationships are even hard to do. So with tariffs now in place, what I'm finding is, especially in US banks, they've gone from hard to work with to impossible to work with.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in the auto business or the lumber business or some business, especially related to tariff, it's just like, you might as well just close shop as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to talk about 3 different programs that doesn't require a bank. And I think it's very cool and interesting. And we're not at a concept stage. We've done a few of these things before. One is our bridging program. It's called Allbridge. We partner with a organization that helps facilitate this. But the idea is that imagine Cindy, you want a loan. And you want a loan because you want to get a studio for yourself in Europe, and you've got customers coming in and they want to get trained by you in your leadership, workshop train at that. And studio you want to rent, the landlord wants first month and last month, and maybe both of them together is like $30,000. I'm just making this up. So now you need a loan. You'll go to a bank and you say, can you give me a loan for $30,000? And the bank will say, well, what's the collateral you're going to give me?
That's right.
Whatever collateral you give them, it better be more than $30,000. It should be $40,000, $50,000. Why? Because if you default, they have to liquidate the collateral, which will cost them money. Then they have to go after you, which will cost them money. Then they also have to sell the collateral, which will cost them money. So it can be, you can't give them collateral for $5,000 when what you're asking is for $30,000, right? So that's like the average entrepreneur has that problem every single day that I can see.
Yeah.
In the Allbridge program, what we do is we do a tri-party contract. So we get the exit buyer to come to a table. Exit buyer signs a contract with us. And once the contract's been signed, we get the entrepreneur, the exit buyer in a contract. That becomes a tri-party contract. Once the contract gets signed, we pay the supplier. So what does that look like for an example that I gave on you? So let's say you have a client, a major corporation, and they've agreed to bring in a lot of their sales reps to get trained by you. And maybe they've got 5,000 sales reps or something like that. And they'll be coming for the next 6 months. Your contract with that client could be $100,000. So what we would do is we'll say, okay, let's get a contract with your client for that $100,000 and you. And what it says is that, hey, we're going to fund Cindy for the acquisition of her real estate transaction, the stuff that she needs, the supplies she needs to fulfill in the contract. But you, Mr. Klein, are going to pay us the 100,000, not Cindy. And then the client says, fine, no problem. I'll fund it. I'll sign the contract. Cindy signs the contract with us. You sign the contract with us. And when that's been signed, we then go and write the $20,000, $30,000 check to your landlord. We write the check to your suppliers for the furnishing of your studio. And so you've got now all that taken care of. Once the client pays the $100,000 to us, we take our fees out and all the rest goes to you. Why that's disruptive and innovative is that as an entrepreneur, you don't have the $30,000 collateral. So I'm taking care of that. Even if you have the collateral, most banks that I know of will want to do a credit check on you, what's your credit rating, all that stuff. And what's disruptive about this model is that we're shifting off that risk to your customer. So if your customer is the big elephant in the room that you've signed a contract with, the customer agrees to pay us, all the fees due to you, and once that's paid, we take care of all the suppliers, so now you don't have to worry about all that stuff. In Allbridge, the fastest that I've seen it work is about 7 days.
Wow.
Typically, it takes a little bit longer.
Wow.
And it funds in Europe as well, or other jurisdictions. So the key in Allbridge program is for the client to have an exit buyer at the room, at the table, for us to sign the tri-party contract. So that's, I think, it's disruptive, it's interesting, and you as an entrepreneur don't need to go rely on the banks anymore. You don't have to be a victim of their circumstances, things like that. So that's part one. Now I'll tell you about Rent a Rich Uncle. And Rent a Rich Uncle, I have to tell you a story about myself.
Okay.
So I had somebody about, I think 35 years ago, some amount of years ago, sold me on the concept that, boy, if you invest in real estate, you'll be rich. So I bought that Kool-Aid. Only if I invest in real estate.
We have all bought that Kool-Aid without understanding there's more than just that concept going on.
There you go. So I found a tri-party property in Toronto. I loved it. It was like a really good deal. And I needed money for the down payment. I had the money for arrange financing with the bank, but I needed to come up with a big chunk up front to acquire the project or the property, and I didn't have that money. So I went to my rich aunt at the time and my mom, and I wrote a business case for them. I said, if you can help me with a down payment, here's what I can afford to pay on a monthly basis. And they helped me with that transaction. So clearly, I don't want to have my rich aunt to now do deals transactions with my clients. So we changed the program to Rent a Rich Uncle.
Oh, boy.
So all I do is I go to your bank and I buy CDs, courtesy deposits from your bank on 2 conditions. Condition 1, my CDs cannot be collateral. Condition 2 is you have to get the funding you need. So let's go back to the studio example. You have a landlord that wants $30,000 from you. We'll go to your bank, assuming you have the collateral or something like that, and we're going to say to your bank, how much money do I need to put down today to buy CDs from you today for you to do the deal? And your bank must say, well, if you buy, let's say $35,000 of CDs, I'll do the deal. Great. So all I'm doing is I'm buying $35,000 of CDs, certificate of deposits, from the bank today. That's what I'm doing. And what the bank does is that they get $35,000 from me. They loan you $30,000 with interest, but they didn't get $30,000 from me. They got $35,000 from me. So they have another $5,000 that they can loan out to their other customers with interest. Guess what happens to that $35,000? It goes back to the bank. Do you know what they do? They loan it out again and again and again with interest, and they make a fortune. The benefit to the bank is that they're not paying me any money to bring liquidity to them.
Wow.
Right? So I'm bringing the liquidity and the client. What's interesting is most people know and understand that a bank makes money out of loaning money out. Right? Pretty much that's how they make it. If you and I put $1 trillion, imagine you and I put $1 trillion in a small bank in Paris, France. That's a lot of money for a small bank in Paris, France to get $1 trillion. You're forcing a bank to now do a lot of loans that they wouldn't have done otherwise. That makes sense, right? So that's how Rent a Rich Uncle works. My company doesn't solicit We're not offering loans. We don't claim to be a bank like that. So what I'm doing is I'm changing the cash adequacy ratio of the bank such that I'm forcing it to loan money out. With Rent to Rich Uncle, in partnership with my associates, we've done over 3,850 of those transactions. So it's not like we're new to this. It's not like we haven't done this before. And we can do it in places like Europe, as an example, places like Asia and Japan and so on. The only catch is that in Asia or Europe or whoever, they need to have a corresponding bank in the US. Because I'm not saying, let's say, $3 million or $5 million, I'm not putting in my pocket and coming to Asia. I have to go to a US bank to buy the treasury, the CDs from the US bank, and then, they, for lack of a better, sell it to the Asian bank or European bank like that. And that's Rent to Rich Uncle. So in this model, once again, it's different. The client doesn't have to have the, you need to have the collateral, but you don't need to have the down payment. The fact that I'm bringing liquidity to the transaction, it makes it a lot more interesting for a bank. Now, any lender, any bank that wants to do this type of transaction will look at you, Cindy. They'll look at your resume. Can you do what you said you want to do? Can you, do you have the resume to teach people how to be a better salesperson or not? Like things like that. What's the collateral you're giving them? It has to be a deal that makes sense. If you have a bad credit, you're a homeless person, you've never done this before, the fact that I'm buying CDs from a bank doesn't make it a deal. You know what I mean? It has to be a good deal to begin with for the bank. All I'm doing is I'm putting ice cream on the topping, if I can say that. I'm changing liquidity of it.
Yeah.
I have people reaching out from India to me. The guy's a construction worker. He's worked the day of his life in a bank, and he's got 5,000 goats or something like that, and he wants to put out with a bank, and he wants to, it doesn't work that way. Anyways.
No.
So that's Rent to Rich Uncle. It's different. It's alternative. And once again, we're not new to this. We've been doing this for a while. Now I'll tell you the third one, and the third one is very cool. As for sure, I like the third one a lot.
Okay, I can tell you're like all lit up, Timur.
There you go. So one of the things that my company is focused on is putting together events. We call them offshore events. And we've done a few of them now. We've done in Switzerland, New York, different financial centers in the world. But what we're putting together later on this year is an event in Switzerland. I've got 2 small bank CEOs that are looking for investors to come to the table, and 2 wealth management hedge funds in Switzerland that are looking for investors to come to the table. And what I'm doing is I'm asking my members, my audience of clients, we have over 3,000 of them, who would like to come down to Switzerland to meet banks and wealth management funds.
Who wouldn't, Timur?
Right.
Between that and the chocolate.
There you go.
But chocolate.
There you go. But the idea here is, how can I get the client to be an investor of a bank? So now, Cindy, let's go back to you as an example, if I can use that as an analogy.
Sure.
If you were going to become an investor of a bank, now every time the bank makes money, you could make $5 out of the money they're making. But guess what? Every time you want to go and rent a studio and you have to come with $30,000, why would you go to a bank that's a competitor to you instead of going to your own bank? And I want to promise you, when you're part owner of a bank, you can help structure the deals that's favorable to you. You can get terms that's favorable to you. You can get everything that would be so favorable to you. I have multiple case studies, but there's multiple case studies you can even find on the internet. US-based guys who are tired of working with banks. They went and became an investor of a small US bank. And then they were surprised. And then part of the deal was, hey, I'm going to give you, let's say, $5 million or $50 million, or whatever the amount was, to become an investor of your bank. And what I want to do as part of the transaction is I want to bring you all my deals, and you have to agree that as long as I have collateral, you're going to give me the funding I need. That really took off the burden of raising capital all the time from investors, or going and getting loans and giving 5,000 documents, to just go into a bank that you now own, and you don't need to go to investors anymore now, because the bank has now agreed to be a lender for you as long as you have a half decent project. Fine. What they found out was how easy it was for the bank to raise money, because not only could they go to the central bank, a lot of small banks go to other banks to borrow money. And I was like, oh, now I'm in the money pool instead of on the other side of the table. And they could see how easy it was. And then they saw their bank, their business card was part owner of a bank. Every time they went to a event, conference, that, oh, you're like part owner of a bank. Oh, can I talk to you like that? It's
Yeah,
like the whole
suddenly you're
experience was
famous.
different,
Suddenly
right?
you're worth something.
Right. So those are three different alternatives to today's, people looking for alternative funding models.
Yeah.
The Allbridge, you don't need to have the collateral, you have to the exit buyer. Red to rich uncle, you need to have a bank that's agreed to do the deal and buying the CDs. So that makes it a lot more easier. And then part three, which I don't know if my competitors are doing, and I don't think they can do this, is you want to be a part owner of a bank?
I love the whole, I could be an owner of a bank, damn it. I think that's amazing.
Right.
So I have a feeling that I know the answer, but for the viewer's sake, why would banks not want you to know about these solutions? Because they're brilliant, but what are they hiding? What's going on?
So if you're a CEO of a bank,
Right.
you have something called assets under management. The more assets you have, the more for higher credit rating you have. So JP Morgan, as an example, is a AAA bank. The no-name bank of Iraq is probably not even a D-level bank. So as a bank CEO, you want to get more and more clients to come to you for you to get collateral from them. So you can give loans to them like that, and that increases your assets under management. You're collecting fees like that. With Allbridge, where we're doing the bridging program, we're not going to a bank for the loan. We're going to a group of investors that are coming in to fund the transaction. And so the bank is not the one profiting from it. So that'd be a reason why banks would not want you to go to Allbridge or alternative funding, because financially you're not helping them out. But Red to Rich Uncle Bank is a small bank, it's a credit union, it's a private bank. And I'll tell you a story. In the 1950s, in the United States,
Yeah.
when Anglican churches were born, as part of the church, they set up a credit union. In the United States, you don't have 3 credit unions. You have 300 credit unions every block you go to. And these credit unions are not banks. They don't have a bank license. Their religion is different. Where a bank is there to make profit for themselves and their shareholders, a credit union does not share that religion. The credit union is there to say, what do my members want? And these are church members. Like, what does Sydney need, like that? And then they take money from their depositors, and then they loan a big portion of that to other members who are looking for loans, and that's how credit union works. So by us doing Rent to Rich Uncle with them, we bring liquidity to those guys, to a small bank. Like, those guys need it. JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, which are other banks we work with too, they don't need liquidity.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So why would a big bank not want you to go to a credit union? Is for the same reason. They'd rather you go to them so they can study more of their products and services and make more fees.
Yeah.
The bigger banks obviously have bigger fees, whereas small banks have small fees, but they also have a lot more flexible terms. Like with a credit union, typically there is no penalty for prepayment. Big banks, you prepaid me? You ruined my forecast I gave to shareholders. Guess what? You have to now pay a fee for the prepayment or for breaking the deal, like things like that. So that's what I think Rent to Rich Uncle works really well. And then the third one, well, I think if I was a US bank, I for sure don't want you to go to Switzerland and take your money to Switzerland and then become a shareholder of a bank in Switzerland and start taking your money to a Swiss bank. That's like not a good deal. Not a good idea. So I hope that answers the question of why big banks would not want to do any of these things.
Yeah, it's so interesting. They're protecting their interests. They have their systems, they're rigid in those systems, and they're not going to go outside those systems. So it's interesting. So if somebody is like, okay, I need some support getting these creative financial solutions, one of these 3 might be right for me. Now, you do charge a consultation fee and you don't offer a free call. Are you concerned that people might go, yeah, I'm just not going to do the call?
Yeah, so 10 years ago, I used to do free calls. And what happened was that people would call me on a Sunday. I'm not interested in working on a Sunday. They will call me from Oman at 3 a.m. I'm not interested in getting a call at 3 a.m. Like,
My
no, am
goodness.
I in business? Sure, but I also have a family life and like, like things like I found and I discovered by offering a small fee for a call and then offering a refund on it if we close the transaction. What happened at the beginning was there was no decrease in number of calls. I think we were charging $99 for the call. That month, we got 16,000 calls and no decrease in number of calls. The following one, we went up to 297. Now there was a decrease in calls, little bit. Then we went to, I think, 497 or 397. A lot fewer calls came in, but the calls that came in were like multimillionaires or billionaires. So I wasn't attracting the tire kicker. So then we went down to a small fee, like I think we're now at the $297 per call. We give you in writing that we refund 100% of that money to you when we complete a transaction with you. What that does from a filter perspective, it just filters out a lot of junk transactions. People that have ideas, but they don't have collateral. People that just don't qualify for a transaction, like if they're fraudsters. The alternative funding industry, unfortunately, has a lot of fraudsters in it. So I find that by asking for a small amount of money and offering a refund if you complete a transaction, it does two things. A, it makes the call for free, but we have to complete a transaction. So that means before you book a call with me, you better be reading my products and services. There better be a product or service, one or two, that lines up with what you need.
That's right.
Right? So it just eliminates that. Now, here's the shocking surprise. Cindy, every bank I work with says the clients they gain from Allfunds Global are the best clients they've ever got.
Yes.
What that means is that when I call the CEO of a private equity firm in New York that I work with, or when I talk to a small bank CEO that I work with like that, when I call them, they pick up my call. When we have an issue, we're on the top of the customer service list. Like on every single team, we're on top. And the reason for that is because we're giving them, the cream of the crop. We're giving the best clients they could ever have to them.
Yeah.
And it's just been really amazing. It's been really amazing. The guy who doesn't want to pay me $297 because what they have some coefficient and they'd rather take a free call. I'm sure I'm losing business out of it, but I'm not. I'm not losing sleep over it.
Yeah.
Just today, I think we got 450 inquiries. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot of people that will offer you free advice. Pick up the phone and call now.
Yeah.
I respect my time. I respect my experience. I respect my team's experience and expertise and relationships we have. And if you paid attention to 3 different programs we talk about, I don't know any of my competitors that are offering they're solution agnostic. They have the experience that we have, they have relationships we have, and they're doing the things that we do. And if, a fully refundable call doesn't justify your time, we're probably not fit. And the truth is we're not fit for anybody. We are not fit for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't think everybody's a fit for us either.
Yeah. I love this because it's so important to vet. It doesn't waste your time. It doesn't waste your resources. It doesn't waste their time, but it also weeds out the freebie seekers, the people who, and that's not a judgment, but it's not in alignment. It's simply not in alignment. 100%. And I love that feedback that you get from the banks is like, these are the best people that you are sending to us. And that builds your reputation to an even bigger level, which again, gives you the clout to be able to serve your clients and really get them the funding that they need on a much bigger level, because they're going to trust you, Timur, at Allfunds Global versus somebody else. If they have 2 deals on the table,
right?
It's like they've got 2 deals on the table and they can only do funding for one. They're going to choose you because you've built that trust. You bring them the best of the best.
Right.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
So how do people find you then? If they are like, okay, no, I'm ready. Let me pay that fee.
Yeah. So our website is allfundsglobal.com. We have a lot of imitators and I'm flattered by them. So they'll go and get allfundsglobal.com.
You're laughing about it.
Some nonsense. So we're allfundsglobal.com. We're based in Switzerland. So that's one way people find us. They find us from YouTube. We publish a lot of content on YouTube. And then I published a few books. I'm pretty sure you can buy most of them on Amazon today. So that's where most of people find us. Then we have over 900 brokers. So there's a broker that calls. We have a lot of calls that comes in on a daily basis, or brokers that have 1 or 5 different transactions. So, and then we have this thing called word of mouth referral. And I just have no idea why. Word of mouth referrals doesn't always get me the clients that I want. Like I find like I have even banks referring clients to us, and I was like, no, Fred, like how do you get that one? but those are how people find us: our website, YouTube, books, referrals, brokers, that.
That's amazing. Well, as always, this has been extremely, extremely enlightening. I cannot wait for next week to see what we are going to uncover so that your ideal clients can get that funding, can grow their dream, and contribute to themselves, their family, and the world.
Obviously, thank you so much.
So I'm a government official with a country in Africa. So I came across your infomercial on fixing the national debt problem. And that has been a big issue with us. Most of our revenue, government revenue, goes straight into servicing debt, not even the principal, but the interest on the debt. So it's become an issue because the debt servicing has surpassed everything. Education, healthcare, the necessary sectors that are required to build a nation. So we spend a lot more on debt servicing than those. So it's an issue that has become quite challenging and something we need to resolve as soon as possible.
And why are you choosing my firm? Why, like there's 5,000 big consulting firms that claim they can do this or do this. Why choose Allfunds Global?
Allfunds Global has demonstrated, I think, the highest form of professionalism, and I feel quite comfortable with the directors and the principals, and a lot of expertise, as well in banking sector, banking areas. So I think it's a firm that checks all our boxes for what we're looking for in a partner, yeah, we're ready to go, ready to work with you.
I love it. Thanks so much for trusting us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. Hi friends, I now want to take a minute and answer some of your frequently asked questions. One of the common questions I get a lot is, Timur, we've learned a lot from you through your YouTube channel. How do we learn more? Can we fly down and meet your team? And the answer to all of that is yes, yes, and yes. If you want to learn more, my first invitation is to become a member of Allfunds Global. You simply go to our website, allfundsglobal.com. You sign up to become a member for free. You get access to webinars, offshore events that we do, and content that we never, ever, ever, ever publish on YouTube. I promise you that it's worth becoming a member for sure. The second way that you can learn a lot is I'm a published author. Structured Financing Demystified, Hypergrowth, just multiple books on Amazon that you can get access to. I highly recommend going and checking out some of these books, getting engaged into some of the stuff, that strategies and tactics that we're using for ourselves, for our families, for our friends. You definitely want to check these things out for sure. Another question, I guess, Timo, why are you so passionate about getting a bank license? Why is that so important? Well, the truth is, our mission within Allfunds Global is to help businesses become self-funded for life. Imagine you run a coffee shop and I run a coffee shop. Imagine we buy the coffee beans from the same grower and my coffee shop is right across yours, like really right across yours. Our competition is probably nil. But if you have a bank license and I don't have a bank license, and let's say I made $500,000 and you made $500,000 in income, but if you have a bank license, you are depositing a bank license with the central bank of the country where you own your own private bank license. Let me repeat this again. You are depositing your money with the central bank of the country you have your bank license on. So $500,000 deposited with the central bank should give you a line of credit of 10 times multiple. So that means you get a line of credit of $5 million. Now it's not free money, it's a line of credit of $5 million. Now,
If you draw that entire money out and you go to whichever country you're currently resonating in, the country you're doing business with, and you know in real estate, you want to buy a house, you put 20% down and you get a loan for 80%, same thing. You put $5 million down with a business plan to your local bank, whoever you bank with, and say, hey, I want to grow my business, my technology business, real estate business, pharmaceutical business, whatever business it is. I'm a venture capitalist. I'm putting $5 million down. Your bank gives you a loan at four times more, so now you get a $20 million loan. Now it's not free money, it's $20 million loan. What can you afford to do with $20 million that I cannot afford to do with $500,000? Could you invest in artificial intelligence? Could you invest in hiring better people? Could you invest in advertising? Hell, with that amount of money, could you even buy auxiliary businesses or invest in auxiliary businesses? I say you can, and that's why we within All Funds Global are so passionate in helping clients become self-funded for life, and getting a private bank license is one of the vehicles that I am personally very passionate about helping clients on. Another question, I guess, Timur, you charge a consultation fee. All Funds Global, the team charges a consultation fee. Why do you charge a consultation fee when you guys can make so much money on the back end? It somehow slows me down from taking a credit card and paying you money for it. Well, here's the truth. We offer our content, millions and millions of dollars worth of content completely for free on YouTube. We don't advertise as of the date of doing this video. We don't advertise on YouTube, Google, or we don't do any kind of advertising at all. And what we find is the volume of traffic that goes into YouTube attracts people that are tire kickers, people that are fraudsters, people that have mental health issues. When we charge a small consultation fee, this deters the hacker, the fraudster, the person who's shopping around, the tire kicker. It eliminates all that and allows me and my team to be on calls or meetings with customers we actually want to do business with. What a concept. Now comes, this is better. At the time of doing a transaction with a client, that fee they pay for a consultation call, we refund it. At the conclusion of us doing a transaction with a client, we refund 100% of all the monies that they paid on consultation fees. This allows us to work with people that are committed to working with us, are serious about working with us, are not tire kickers, are not people that are like, they don't know what banking 101 is, and they're there to waste our time and energy. Just eliminates that. And me and my team are very proud of doing that. Next question, I guess, Timur, the alternative funding industry overall has a lot of fraudsters in it, has a lot of deep fake in it. What are you doing to protect us, protect yourself? So here's the answer to that. Any industry that has a lot of money by default attracts a lot of fraud. Let me say this again. Any industry that attracts a lot of money by default attracts a lot of fraud. I don't know who you bank with. If you bank with one of the top 20 banks in the world, pick a bank you bank with, or you use payment processing companies like PayPal, these companies see a lot of fraud every day, from fraudsters mimicking their website to mimicking their email addresses, and in cases like mine, once a year or twice a year, some idiot, excuse my language, decides to copy my picture on social media, tries to create a fake profile of me, and goes on social media selling scammy transactions. Now, we have the technology and the resources to catch that, usually within 72 hours of that happening, and then cause legal action against that fraudster. We have the financial resources, thank God, to do that today, but that's just the nature of this industry. So what we do to protect ourselves is we never solicit on social media anything, nor do we solicit in general. We offer a lot of educational materials, but we don't solicit. You'll never see me or any of my associates on any social media trying to sell anything, ever. Second, all transactions that we do, money always has to go through a reputable law firm. All transactions we do, money always has to go to a reputable law firm. You know, we never ask the client to send us money or anything like that. Now, I do want to take a minute and talk a little bit about my competitors. In the United States, in the US alone, US has 3% of the world's population, and they have over 60% of the world's lawyers. In the United States, that's a fact, have 3% of the world's population and over 60% of the world's lawyers. I have a lot of legitimate competitors in the United States and around the world that unfortunately have been sued for wrongful things that other people have done. There's a lot of negative stuff on social media or websites about some of my legitimate competitors. And I want to tell you that a lot of my competitors are legitimate. They're hardworking people. I know them. They deliver real results. And unfortunately, they have negative comments or fraud or even lawsuits against them. The reason within Allfunds Global doesn't have a lawsuit against it, or me, Tamer Zaman, don't have a lawsuit against me, or people on social media saying that we're fraudsters or something like that, is simply because of my lack of vision. Every company you deal with, every major company you deal with, whether it's the cars you drive, Ford, Lexus, I don't know, GM, or Facebook, Google, YouTube, whatever you use, or medicine you have, like Tylenol, all of these companies have lawsuits against them. A lot of the companies you work with have litigations against them as just part of the growth. At some point, the business needs to grow exponentially, and that's when you have to see lawsuits as just the nature of the business growing. The fact that we don't have it is because of my lack of vision as the CEO and like trying to bark a tree like that. Now, I see that changing as we buy businesses that have other CEOs, as we grow, we have over 800 registered brokers with us. As that number grows, it's not normal for our business to continue growing without some idiot calling us fraudster, some idiot trying to sue us, or something like that. If you want to take advantage of the alternative funding industry, I'm going to tell you this is the industry I love. I'm going to tell you this is the industry that I've made a lot of money with. I'm going to tell you this is the industry I've helped a lot of clients make a lot of money with, friends and family make a lot of money with. And if this is an industry you want to get involved in, I recommend meeting the people you want to do business with, like physically flying out to meeting them. If you can afford to hire an investigator, we use a lot of former FBI, former CIA people. These are people you can hire to do background checks. It's not only do these people have lawsuits or not, or other losers calling them fraudsters or not. I'm telling you, a lot of my competitors are really good people, and they're not fraudsters. So do your own due diligence, listen to your intuition. We're really interested in working with some really good people that are vision-driven entrepreneurs that really want to serve the world. And I think we have some things that are really amazing to offer. Another question I get is, Tamer, we love all the services of Allfunds Global. What are the top 3 services you offer that we should really seriously think about, call you or your organization and get you guys involved? But my favorite service, the one that makes a lot of sense, is the trusted advisory service. This is when we become your chief banking officer. We work with your CFO, your legal team, the CEO, the COO. We look at where your organization is, where you want it to be. We look at banking programs that make sense for your type of business, that are proven and would work to generate access to alternative revenue sources for your business that makes sense. From that, we then create offshore tax structures, offshore bank accounts, offshore bank licenses for your organization, so the revenue that gets generated has a channel to go to that is well protected. We have a lot of domain expertise that I do not share ever on YouTube. It's not like a lawyer who's like, go create a trust account and cooks at it. We don't do. We do some very sophisticated stuff that I'm very proud of. That's our intellectual property. And so the trusted advisory services, where we become a trusted advisor, is one of the things that I would recommend everybody to look at. It's a monthly retainer, you pay for it, but let me tell you, for every penny you put in to that, you get tens of dollars out of it. And I think you're not going to get this amount of expertise dedicated to your business. So that's something I would recommend you to think about and sign up for. Second one is, if you're looking for access to capital, we have a lot of unique programs like Rent a Rich Uncle that we can support your organization as long as your organization is a successful business and not a startup, not somebody who's going bankrupt. It's a successful business that has real cash, real assets, and is generating something real, that's real growth. I think we have some avenues for accessing capital that others simply cannot offer. And the final one that I love is we have a lot of asset management structures that are very unique to our intellectual property that I love to share with you. If you have assets, you want to grow, you want to get a bank license, you want to set up a trust, you want to work with multiple central banks, do some really cool stuff, I think I'm the only weirdest person that has real expertise and experience in doing this stuff. And so my name is Tim, I'm from Allbridge Global. Thank you for following us up on YouTube. If you're doing that, thank you for trusting me. Thank you for trusting my team. And on behalf of my team, I just really want to say thank you. And we look forward to the opportunity of serving you.